The Hamas organization attacked Israel on October the 7th, and terrorist actions claimed many lives. And today I would like to analyze astrologically how it could come to this and give you an outlook. But before I begin, a warm welcome here on my YouTube channel. And if you want to have a weekly prediction of the upcoming energies, please feel free to subscribe to my weekly newsletter where I share a lot of information every week what's about the astrological and energetic constellations. You find the link below this video. Maybe you saw my last video where I reported about what we can expect astrologically and energetically with the upcoming particular extreme solar eclipse and also the lunar eclipse, which will very strong activate the energies of Mars. And there I have highlighted that terrorism is something that we can experience through these energies. And I did not know when I made this video what happened on Saturday in Israel with the terror attack of Hamas. And these are exactly the energies of which I have spoken. Today I would like to show you the horoscope of Israel and its Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, because there we can see how the transits exactly triggered these countries' horoscopes and have activated those old wounds. And my point here in this video is not to decide what is right and what is wrong, but simply to show you the constellations which have led to that what happened and how it could develop further. Let's start and let's look at the horoscope of Israel. And when we look on a horoscope, very important is always where is the ascendant. The ascendant, also the moon and the sun, they are very important points for our consciousness and how we experience our life, and also in a country chart. And we also look to the relation to the lunar nodes, because the lunar node stands for our destiny. And then we also look where in the transit is Mars and Moon, because they are the most important triggers that activate events. And here in this chart, we call a horoscope a chart, we see that the ascendant is at 29 degrees in the sign of Virgo, in the nakshatra Chitra. And I'm speaking of Vedic astrology. This is a completely other system than the Western astrology. And I made recently a video about the differences, and I will link it here. And by the way, the ascendant sits directly with a very important fixed star. And this fixed star is called Spica. And this is an auspicious star that stands for prosperity and success. It is a very bright star. And this means that this country, there is a really important energy behind this country that wants to shine up. But we also have Mars, the planet Mars, in the 12th house. And in a country chart, this is about hidden enemies and also foreign countries and our own borders. And Mars is the ruling planet in this horoscope of the 3rd house, Scorpio, and the 8th house, Aries. And the 8th house and the 12th house are karmic houses that are very strong for the fate the karmic destiny. And there it is all about difficulties and aggressions with neighbors, because Mars, as ruler of the third house is about neighbors, and the 12th house is our hidden enemies and our borders. And this means this is really a big karmic topic that this solar eclipse now activates in this horoscope. And in this case, the neighbors are the Palestinians and the 12th house, where Mars is seated. And also, as the ruler of the 8th house, means this is really a deep karmic bond those two have together. And this means that this fight against each other because of different belief systems and mostly religious beliefs is a very old karmic wound that is now played out. And it is now played out not to intensify this wound. It is played out to understand now it is time to heal this wound. And the true history is much older than this playing out here on earth. And I will make another video about this history. And please subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. And maybe it is now time that those deep wounds are ready to heal. But let us now look at a transit that triggered this event. And the solar eclipse will happen next Saturday. And these energies are not only working on this day of the eclipse, they are activated right now. And their effect can be experienced often over half a year or a year. And the solar eclipse takes place at 26.56 degrees in the sign of Virgo, where the moon and the sun will have a conjunction near the lower lunar node Ketu. And this is nearly direct to the ascendant of Israel at 29 degrees. And that means it will really shake this country to the core, the identity of a country, because it happens in the first house where the ascendant sits. That's really a biggie. And the planet Uranus is 8 houses away in the nakshatra Kritika. And this nakshatra, the lunar mansions are called nakshatra. This nakshatra and those nakshatras are energies of the moon. And if you want to know more about Vedic astrology, I have an online course where you can learn all about those special energies. And this nakshatra is ruled by the sun. And this connects it to the solar eclipse, which also will happen at 27 degrees nearly, and connects to those 28 degrees of Uranus. And Uranus stands for sudden and unexpected events, like we saw on Saturday. And then there is also another important aspect of Rahu. Rahu is the upper lunar node, which is now in the transit, but it is in the sign of Aries at 0 degrees. And Rahu has an aspect to Mars, and to the Mars in the horoscope of Israel in the 12th house, and triggers this 12th house. And like I told you, the 12th house is about hidden enemies, borders, foreign countries, and karmic topics. And this Mars is not only activated by this aspect of Rahu, and this aspect of Rahu is now so intense because Rahu is at 0 point, and this 0 point is the most intense point in the zodiac you can experience. But Mars is also activated because of the solar eclipse that happens in the lunar mansion of Mars at 27 degrees in Virgo. And Mars is, the planet Mars itself in the transit, is together with the lower lunar node, Ketu, in the next house of the solar eclipse, and also brings up the result of the solar eclipse. And Ketu and Mars, they stand very, very strong for terrorism, for actions of Mars that are headless and not really good, and often bring a lot of death. And then we can also look to the Dasha period of Israel, because in a horoscope we also have life cycles in Vedic astrology, and this country is just in the Rahu Dasha, and this means where your Rahu is in the horoscope, this house and these topics are activated, and Rahu sits in the 8th house, and the 8th house is about transformation. It is about death and rebirth. And like I told you, Rahu stands now at 0 degrees in Gandanta, we call this special point. And this lets us feel that we are out of control and give us the feeling of drowning. And it is not really possible to predict such an event like this that happened exactly to the day or the minute. But we can see the period where those aspects are activated. But now let's look at a horoscope of Benjamin Netanyahu. And where do I get those birth datas? You can find all those datas in the Astro Data Bank, and it is you can find it in the internet via astro.com. There you can find all those important informations about the birth datas of countries and also of important people. And they are very reliable. And when I look at his chart, the first thing that I see is that the planet with the highest degrees is the moon. This is his Atma Karaka and is very important for him. And you can also look in your horoscope. And if you want to have a horoscope, you can order it in our online shop, a Vedic Astrology horoscope, because it is not the same like the Western horoscope. And the planet with the highest degrees is your Atma Karaka. It is a very important planet for you and also for him, the moon. And because it is how he expresses himself. And the moon stands for people who are very emotional and very sensitive, but often do not show their feelings to the outside. They normally have like a shell, and they can be very uncertain and lacking clarity. And the solar eclipse takes place almost exactly on his moon at October the 14th. Sun and moon will be there on his moon, and that is very important. That can stand also for a new awareness that he can get. And likewise, you see Mars is in the transit now in the next house in the sign of Libra at about 3 nearly 4 degrees. And what can you see in his horoscope? There sits the sun at 4 degrees in the 12th house, which is about hidden enemies, foreign countries, and the sun stands also for his role as a leader, and which could also be in danger with those energies. And the solar eclipse happens in his 11th house, and this is connected also to karmic issues towards leading groups. And Pluto is at 3 degrees now in the transit, in the sign of Capricorn. And there you can see at 0 degrees is his Jupiter. And this is the 3rd house, which is about our neighborhood, which is under attack with these Plutonian energies. And that is really very, very intense. But now let's look, how will this conflict continue or end? And like I spoke in my last video, the lunar eclipse at the end of October is also a very important energetic aspect. And the horoscope of Israel, there you can see Mercury and the Sun in the sign of Taurus, and they are connected by degrees with Mars, that is at this time at 70 degrees, and Ketu, which is at 0 degrees. And there you can see in the horoscope from Israel, the Sun is at 0 degrees, 8 houses away, and Mercury is at 17 degrees, 8 houses away. And this speaks for a connection of those energies because of the degrees, and they are in a 8 houses away. And this speaks of difficulties in communication, harsh and aggressive communication, misunderstandings. And the Sun rules the 12th house that can bring, like I told you, maybe a change in leadership or something very important that changes in the connection to foreign countries. Yes, we will see how those energies will play out. But what I see is that this conflict will not find an end so quickly. And Mars, as the ruler of the 3rd house, that brings problems with neighborhoods. And also we see those triggered 12th house with the borders and hidden enemies. And this is really a topic that is not solved so nearly. And then we also have Saturn, the planet Saturn, at 7 to 6 degrees. And now Saturn starts he slows down his speed because he will change the direction and go forward again on the 4th of November. And at this time, Saturn stands nearly still in the sign of Aquarius. And this is an amazing, strong energy. Because also Mars in the chart of Israel is in the sign of Leo, and it is directly opposite to this Saturn. And this means that this conflict will not solve very soon, because Mars and Saturn is like energy that brings standstill, that nothing really improves in a good way. So I do not see that there is a change of those difficult energies this year. Maybe we can see it in the first 3 months in the next year, but in this year I only see an intensifying of this conflict. And another thing in Benjamin Netanyahu's chart Ketu, the lower lunar node, will move over his moon at the end of December, and this could also bring difficulties in his consciousness, and also maybe in his role that he has in this country. And he can also lose support from friends, and in a country chart it is about other countries that give him support, that this support is lacking. And that was my analysis for today. And most important, we have to understand we are in a big transformation, and that is what our souls want to experience now here on earth. And we do not really have much time left to bring everything now to the forefront and to see what was deeply buried for many generations in our consciousness about hatred, rejection, separation, disgrace. And those deep wounds, they must come up to see them, to feel them, and to heal them. And this is very important, a very important task for all of us right now. But we are so strong. We created the divide, and so we can create the healing. But we have to start with our own souls to heal and to allow our own deep wounds to come up. And that is all about this, what we are now experience with this massive transformation and those energies. And let's find our own inner peace, because by healing ourselves, we help to heal everything else here in the world. And thank you so much for listening, and share this video with like-minded people, and